Scousers do not get knocked. That Scouser does not get knocked out.
Hold up.
My God.
So, the dust has settled and the verdict is in. Time for the real breakdown to start.
Pimblett, the baddie. 23 wins, 3 losses, 7 KOs, 10 submissions. The kid is good on the ground. He's going to attack you from his back. If you fuck up, you end up underneath him. He's going to damage you until you give up your back. He's going to take your back, and he's a very good finisher there. You saw him do it to Michael Chandler. He's taken on the highlight, Justin Gaethje. 26 wins, 5 losses, 20 KOs. The dude fucking KOs people. Early on, he'd calf kick the fuck out of people. He'd calf kick people where they couldn't take it anymore. He had many TKOs from calf kicks alone. The guy is just a dense fucking ball of muscle, built for fighting, 37 years old now. He's crumpled people with his left hook. He's crumpled people with his right hand. Paddy Pimblett is going to have to be very careful throwing his flurries on Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje will sit down and rip a left hook, or sit down, drop his head, and launch a right hand. That's Justin Gaethje's ways to win. He could KO Paddy Pimblett. He very well could. The longer the fight goes, if the fight gets more hectic and gets more scrambly, it's going to lean towards Paddy Pimblett.
Before Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett stepped into that octagon, analysts were split down the middle. Some saw an upset brewing, while others called it inevitable. Now that we know how it ended, let's dive into those predictions and see who nailed it versus who completely missed the mark.
If someone gave me $10,000 to bet with, and they said, hey, put it on who you think's going to win. God. I'm going to say 60-40. 60-40. 40% chance that Justin Gaethje knocks Paddy Pimblett out. Hits him on his chin. When Paddy Pimblett's flurrying, hits him right on his hits him right on the scouser chin. Bunk. Gets dropped. 40% chance, I think. 60% chance this fight, Justin's not able to find him. It's a little bit, it's like a spastic, weird style. He's not able to find his chin. If Paddy Pimblett puts him on his back, it's going to be a long night for Justin Gaethje. Hopefully he's had to pick $10,000. 60% me thinks Paddy Pimblett's going to win. 40% thinks Justin Gaethje's going to win. Paddy Pimblett gets it done. God! Let's see what happens.
Tim Welch framed this whole thing as a clock ticking down. In his mind, Pimblett was lethal because he could grind opponents into the mat until a submission opened up, constantly scrambling and applying pressure from weird angles.
January 24th, UFC 324. First pay-per-view back, and two guys that you fought, Paddy the Baddy Pimblett, Justin Gaethje. What do you think is going to be the biggest X factor for the winner of that fight?
Great question. I will be in attendance. Two guys that I respect a ton. I've loved watching Paddy rise and even fighting him, obviously having a ton of respect for him. Gaethje, fight of the year 2021 or 2022. We shared the Octagon together. Paddy is better than everybody thinks. Paddy is better than you think, the entire media thinks, the entire world thinks. He's better than the entire MMA landscape thinks. With that being said, Justin Gaethje is always game. Justin Gaethje always shows up, and Justin Gaethje is always violent and dangerous. It's a pick'em fight for me. I do think Gaethje is going to look across the octagon, see a guy that he should beat, but he's not as easy to beat as he thinks he is, so it's going to be a very interesting fight.
On the other hand, but here's what worried him about Gaethje. Justin's entire approach was built around making overeager fighters pay with brutal leg kicks and explosive power shots. Every time things got wild, someone was getting hurt. Welch figured if Paddy could weather that early storm and drag things into those gritty, grinding exchanges, the tide would start turning his way.
Yeah, you just have to go in there and do your work. And Gaethje is that guy, 37, but he's still that guy. He's still the violent highlight. So, yeah, but again, that kind of stuff is fuel, if you choose to use it as fuel. So he seems like he is.
What should Gaethje's approach to this fight be?
Fucking be Gaethje. Just be Gaethje. Be you. Do you. You know who you are. So don't let him tell you who you are. Show them who you are. Leg kicks is good, but don't start for leg kicks. I'll start with his Gaethje has a nice jab. He likes to stay in the mid-range, so he'll be able to jab Paddy, but Paddy as well has, if he uses his jab well, he'll be fine. I think Paddy will be on the back foot first, and if he cracks Gaethje, then he'll be the one dictating the pace. But Gaethje will be the first one dictating the pace, in my opinion, in the first few exchanges on the first round. Gaethje has to also be careful because Paddy hits hard. Gaethje can eat him. Look, there's a reason Paddy's the favorite in this fight. Again, I'm just going to fall.
When it came down to making the call, you could tell Welch was torn. He went with Pimblett by the slimmest of margins, but kept hammering home how dangerous Gaethje was in those chaotic moments.
I'm watching the embeddeds again. Paddy said people haven't seen him in deep waters, and he says that's where he comes alive. So I want to see it. Show him who you are. And he's right. This is interim title shot, just like mine. People thought I was going to drown, and then I showed them that's why I come alive. So I believe it. I want to see it. But again, there's only one man who can make that, an early night for Paddy, and that's Gaethje. But I'm going to stick with the script. As much as I kind of think I want to lean towards Gaethje because we're in the same position, I'm just going to stick with the script in this fight, in this card, and I'm going to go with Paddy Pimblett by decision. Yeah.
I think submission.
Submission? Oh, submission. Yeah, that's a good one. Fuck, I forget. Duh. He likes to jump on people's backs and shit.
His logic was pretty straightforward. If Justin couldn't put something devastating together early, this fight was going to drift away from him. Once that happened, Pimblett's wrestling and control game would take the wheel and drive toward victory.
Paddy Pimblett's much younger. He's got less miles on the clock, but he's not a child. He's 31 years old. So he's in his prime, his athletic prime. He's got the strength, and now he's got the experience. Now, a lot of people have talked shit about Paddy Pimblett along the way, saying he's getting easy matchups. And to be fair, some of them weren't the toughest, right? He made his UFC debut against Luigi Venturini, but he knocked him out. Then it was Rodrigo Vargas, stopped him with a rear naked choke. Jordan Levy, a very good jiu-jitsu player, tapped him out as well. Then we all know the controversial one with Jared Gordon. Jared Gordon's not an easy guy to fight, right? He's a very capable fighter. Could have gone either way, whatever you want to say. And then it was Tony Ferguson, right? And he beat him by decision. And everyone's like, yeah, Tony Ferguson, man. You get no credit for beating Tony Ferguson, but you should.
Michael Chandler saw this as way tighter than most people realized. He kept pushing back against everyone sleeping on Paddy, saying the guy was getting way more hate than he deserved. Chandler called it a complete coin flip. His biggest concern was Justin walking in thinking this would be a cakewalk when it was actually going to be a war, even though he knew Gaethje brought that violent streak every single time. Israel Adesanya kept it simple for Gaethje. Don't try to be someone else, just be yourself. He saw Justin as this destructive force who could either get thrown off by all the chatter or use it as fuel. Adesanya wanted to see Gaethje take charge early with the basics, controlling distance and rhythm while expecting Pimblett to play it safe at the start. But he also knew one clean connection from Paddy could flip everything upside down, which made sense of why Pimblett was getting the betting love despite Gaethje's relentless pressure. The analyst had pointed out how Pimblett thrived when things got messy, saying those deep water scrambles were exactly where Paddy found his groove. Sure, Gaethje had the firepower to end it quick, but he stuck with his gut feeling on Pimblett. He saw this going all 5 rounds but thought a submission was the most realistic finish, talking up how Paddy had this ability to capitalize once he got someone down and established position. Michael Bisping made a point about Pimblett being the younger guy with way less wear and tear. At 31, Paddy was hitting his physical peak, mixing raw strength with experience that kept growing. Bisping ran through his UFC run from those early stoppages against Luigi Vendramini and Rodrigo Vargas to his grappling wins over Jordan Leavitt, that messy situation with Jared Gordon, and the decision over Tony Ferguson. Through all the noise and criticism, Pimblett had been handling legit competition. He described Pimblett as explosive and surgical, someone who could pounce when Gaethje got reckless. He pictured Paddy working under hooks, hitting sweeps, or locking up triangles to turn those wild moments into dominant positions. His pick was Pimblett by submission for the interim belt. He admitted he might be showing bias or not giving Gaethje enough credit, but his reasoning was solid. Justin had lost a step, got knocked out cold by Max Holloway, and was pushing. All of that made him confident Pimblett would walk away as champion. Chael Sonnen also favored Pimblett, but he zeroed in on what might happen if things hit the mat. He talked about this advantage American wrestlers carry into MMA, that natural ability to scramble back to their feet when someone's trying to hold them down. Sonnen broke down how this skill of turning and facing someone trying to control you often separates elite wrestlers from everyone else, giving guys like Pimblett this dynamic weapon even when they're in trouble. He explained that this get-back-to-your-feet instinct was a huge reason why American wrestlers had dominated foreign competition in MMA historically, but he noted that even someone like Chandler had struggled with Pimblett, whether it was Paddy's crushing control, smart leg rides, pure exhaustion, or just rust on those scrambling skills. He figured Gaethje might run into the same problems. In his mind, if Pimblett got Justin down, keeping him there was going to be nearly impossible. MMA Guru went with Pimblett, taking it leaning toward a submission finish and thinking an armbar or triangle was most likely. He knew Gaethje still packed early knockout power but warned people not to sleep on Paddy's toughness and cage presence. He expected Pimblett to use his reach and striking smartly while eating a few shots from Gaethje, making him a real threat throughout. He felt Paddy's calm under fire and ability to adjust during the fight would eventually swing things his way. He also questioned whether Gaethje's knockout power was being overrated. When he looked back at Justin's career, those KOs usually happened under very specific conditions. James Vick, when he was hurt, Michael Johnson after he was already wobbled, or that first-round finish on Donald Cerrone. Those moments were rare and needed perfect setups. He didn't think a highlight reel head kick or sudden knockout was realistic against Pimblett. Gaethje had power, but it hadn't been consistently ending fights with one shot. Dan Hardy saw this as must-watch television because of Gaethje's non-stop action, but felt like this was Pimblett's moment to step up. He predicted Paddy by submission, thinking a combination of Gaethje getting tired and occasionally overextending would create opportunities. Hardy imagined Pimblett landing something big, maybe like that knee he caught Chandler with, which would set up chokes like a Diaz or Anaconda, probably finishing things in the late 3rd or early 4th round. Jimmy Smith argued that Gaethje's takedown defense and striking made him a nightmare matchup for Pimblett, suggesting Paddy wouldn't be able to dominate him on the ground like he did with Michael Chandler, though he admitted Chandler wasn't on Gaethje's level. He acknowledged that father time and all that accumulated damage might be factors. Still, Smith felt that Gaethje's drive, knowing this might be his last shot at gold, gave him a serious advantage heading in. He said while Pimblett's striking and finishing had been impressive, he believed Gaethje's heart and experience would eventually overwhelm Paddy as the fight went on. He admitted going back and forth in his head about the pick, but when he saw the odds with Justin at +90 and Pimblett at -230, he spotted value in Gaethje. To him, this was basically a 50-50 fight, but that payout made Justin the smarter play, so he leaned toward Gaethje at those 2-1 odds. So what do you think about who actually got this one right and came closest to predicting how everything went down? Share your thoughts down below and make sure to subscribe so you catch every single breakdown we drop.